We're very close to each other. Hi, darling.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
It's a bit of a rainy day today, isn't it?
Yeah, drizzly day.
Bit drizzly. Just had to go and get a coffee and a brownie to cheer us up.
It actually worked wonders.
It helped.
It was a really good brownie.
Made the right decision.
I think we did, and we heard a German man. What did he say?
I wouldn't say German, remember. He was,
sorry, European.
rude, but he was too jubilant.
Yeah, jubilant.
You always try and make the sarcasm, but nobody gets it unless they're British.
Yeah, he said like, don't cut in front of me. That's my cappuccino. Ha ha ha. Only the British get the sarcasm. I was like,
he was very chaotic. He had a rain mac and a very rainy backpack that he kept plonking all over everything. And his wife
was really annoyed because he just like, I was like, I'm going to put the bag here. It's full of tents and sleeping bag. And he put it on the menu and like it knocked all of the sign. And his wife was like, yeah, that over here.
And he'd obviously just decided to talk to the two English people that were, I think they were English on holiday rather than Welsh.
They were from Birmingham.
Yes.
Sorry, I overheard the whole conversation because he said, Birmingham. Yes, like the Uriah Heep song where he says Birmingham at the beginning. That's how I know about Birmingham. And
they were like, looking at us for help. Like, this man's talking to us.
Awkward British people. I'm like, we're not going to help you.
No.
This German man is very jolly. Sorry, German adjacent.
You really want him to be German.
I wanted to be German so bad. And then they talked about, why am I telling you what they talked about? But I thought it was interesting because the only Uriah Heep song that I know is called July Morning, and it's the 1st of July today.
Ding dong.
So that's on that. What day's the day? St. Swithin's Day, isn't it? Is that what it is? Swithin's?
Yes. That's long gone.
Long gone?
We've had St. Swithin's Day.
Did it rain?
Oh, wait, no.
I thought it was July.
Oh, wait, no. I said that with such confidence.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the one in early spring where it's like, if it rains today, then we're going to have a good spring. But
well, I'll have you know it's on the 15th of July.
Sorry.
I'd never even heard of it until you told me about it.
We don't want it to rain on St. Swithin's Day.
Well, everywhere else in the UK, oh God, I'm talking about the weather. Sorry. Everywhere else in the UK, it's a heat wave. In Pembrokeshire, on your day off, it's pissing it down. Sorry, should I not say where we live?
Such is life.
Outed. Doxed.
They can't be asked to come to Pembrokeshire.
No, no one can. No one can, famously.
So,
we just quickly acknowledge that if you are watching on the YouTube, we're on one camera. We've been having a bit of trouble with the camera situation. Do you remember the other day mine turned off halfway through?
Yes. Maybe my phone is protesting living in rainy Pembrokeshire because it's decided that it's got some water up its butt crack, but it hasn't.
I'm a bit nervous about this coffee that's over the keyboard.
Fine.
Famous last words. Yeah, no, it will be fine. Sorry, your lovely cappuccino.
Yeah, my phone's suddenly doing a thing which I've never seen before, saying, you can't charge me because I've got water up here, but just leave me alone for a bit. But there's no water up there.
You haven't done anything with it.
And I don't really know what's going to happen.
And we're not just trying to say to the IT man, no, we promise we didn't spill our Stanley Cup on it, which I imagine happens in the corporate world all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No, Mr. IT man called Gareth, we didn't do that. Genuinely, there's no water. I said, have you taken it into the shower? No. Was it by the sink when you did your washing up? No. So
what are we going to do? Well, it means we're cozy today on one camera together.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening.
This episode we're going to talk about episodes 3, 4 and 5 of series 2 of the Ultimatum Queer Love.
Wow, and what a group of episodes they were.
Oh my God.
I was just gonna say, practically, I think it's just before they swap over again. I think we've basically had all of the weeks of them being in the trial marriages. It was a good selection. Yeah, we just were like, let's do 3 episodes on the next one. Nailed it.
Fucking someone give me a raise.
Someone give me a raise. Yeah, true.
And like, I'm so glad we didn't, because we were so tempted at the end of episodes 1 and 2 to sneak a little bit of episode 3.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad we didn't, because in last episode that we recorded, we were saying, well, obviously, you know, AJ's going to pick Marita. Like, why has she even pretended to be flirting with Marie?
Oh my God, I can't believe
I know. And then
she picked
Marie.
Which could have been good. This show is all kinds of messy.
It's mad.
It's messy as fuck.
Well, I thought maybe the like connection would bloom between AJ and Marie, but it's done quite the opposite. So now I'm wondering if AJ like found out who she could get to the sexy level with, aka Marita, and then was like, well, I'm not gonna test myself there. I'm gonna go with someone who I'm not gonna have sex with, so that I get back with Britney afterwards. Because she was so flirty with so many people, and then just went with the person who she didn't seem to actually have any intention of being flirty with in the end.
This whole situation is just so weird because you know how like they've all broken up, but they've all obviously like we've come far enough, I think, certainly in the queer world to understand how non-monogamy works.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just call it that? Like, it's weird to like decide to, because obviously you can't just switch off feelings because no one's actually done anything wrong. You've all just made a weird agreement that
you're not actually broken up.
Yeah, and also like come the end of this episode, the last episode that we're talking about, like they all want reassurance from their original partner. So like it's just weird that they've made it so complicated. I guess they're trying to make it easy by breaking up.
I guess they've done it on purpose so that to create extra drama, because some people, the thing that stresses me out about it so much is that some people take it literally and some people don't, and no one knows whether you actually are meant to be. So like they've done it to give people like Mel and Daynar. Sorry, Daynar has stuck now.
This is just Daynar.
She's Daynar.
I literally am looking at my message. I'm like, that says Daynar.
To give them
to myself
license to use that as an excuse. Well, we were broken up. It's like, well, you're not, because
isn't this whole
you're
thing for
all
you to
furious
see
at each other.
Yeah,
and it makes it so confusing. Like, we'll get to it, but like the Pilar and Kyle thing, like neither of them have the fucking foggiest whether they're actually meant to be doing anything or just being friends or what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I think Pilar had a bit of an idea.
Well, she did, but she's backtracked now and then.
But I think she's only backtracked because she was rejected.
Exactly.
Quite tragically. That made me a bit sad, that whole situation. I think Kyle, obviously being the ultimatum giver, how did this work?
What work?
I was really confused by when they all went out for drinks and it was the ultimatum giver and the ultimatum receiver, but
yeah, and they all happened to
have, Pilar was the receiver,
yeah,
Kyle was the giver, yeah,
bizarrely all paired up with the opposite again of what they are,
which is a terrible idea.
So silly.
Yeah, really weird. So I wonder if there was encouragement from production to like do that. But
I think it's just, I don't think the lesbians need it. Comparing it to the straight one, like that doesn't usually happen in the straight one, and there's nowhere near as much sex in the straight one. Oh my god. So this like I guess this
shocking.
Understanding,
it's absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
it's shocking.
I think in the straight one actually they do I reckon they do have sex more than they let on, but they hide it because the women are ashamed and the men are dicks.
And we've spoken about it before, how there's potentially, I think when we last did a season on this, how there's a bit of kind of fetishization potentially of showing that on camera, hearing the I'm like, I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear the noise.
I want to know that they're having sex.
What have they signed? What have they signed
so that Dayna with a camera,
they didn't even fuzz
Daynar's Nar-Nars.
They didn't even fuzz her Nar-Nars out, did they?
No,
it was full nip.
I saw her full
You
tits.
never see full nip
but
on the telly.
But also they were all on like creepy Ring cameras as well, which was
made it seem like they didn't realise or they hadn't read the small print.
But and like,
because they never did it on the main cameras.
Everything that's been shocking has like been when people kissing. When people kissing and doing this thing, like they can't have not signed something.
I guess it's because there's not people in the room, but maybe they just still know they're getting filmed. You know,
they have to know they're getting filmed. They couldn't just do that. That's absurd.
I don't know. Anyway, let's rewind a bit. Just to touch on briefly the awkwardness of Marita and Britney having to pair up.
I know.
And Britney having to go with the person who was literally just saying that they had feelings for AJ and were ready to drop everything.
I tell you what, though, it has made me like Marita more.
I really like Marita now. I really didn't think I would.
She's kind of like found her little like mask side and been really cute with Britney. Like it kind of when Britney was really crying in the morning, and then Marita came in and said like, do you need a hug? Like it was, and she kind of gave her space for a minute, and I was a bit like, oh God, is she going to even acknowledge it? And then she did in a really nice way.
Yeah, and she's just quite like kind of away with the fairies, and just, I liked it at one point in the night out in episode 5 where some drama was bubbling and she was like, what's happened? What's happening? Like she's saying what Marita, we're all thinking. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, what is happening? Tell us.
Please tell us what the fuck is going on.
But even them, it's not like totally clear. I do wonder whether they edit out things where they say like, well, obviously me and Britney don't have feelings for each other, but we've enjoyed learning things, because we never hear anyone like saying what their relationship is. Even Marita and Britney, they're trying to make it seem like there could be like something, but I really don't think there is.
No, I don't. I think they are just being really nice to each other, and I
think it's lovely that that Britney was so nice to her and wasn't jealous.
Yeah, that was really nice. But then obviously
we
haven't really heard much from AJ for the past like episode. I'm kind
of
the star disappointed.
Yeah,
I want to know more of like what went down with AJ.
I know,
because they kind of, the whole episode was called The Secret Rendezvous or something, and I'm like, but what happened? I want to know what was discussed. We haven't heard Britney say anything about it. We haven't heard AJ say anything about it. We've only heard their trial wives kind of, or maybe just Marie, who said, I've never been so betrayed in my whole life. And I was like, love,
wait a couple of days. You're going to be a lot more betrayed.
In the words of Jojo Siwa, give me 48 hours and you will see, you will have been betrayed more, honey.
You can't go an episode without
mentioning Jojo Siwa. I was just on her Instagram and it said, she put on her story, favourite Jojo Siwa quote, give me 48 hours. I was like, girl, that's in bad taste.
Oh, that is.
Isn't that yucky?
Ooh, ouchie.
Give me 48 hours and I'll lick your willy for some reason. Okay, just to get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Pilar and Kyle, they were so awkward before all of this stuff. Like when they first went to bed, I was like, oh my God, Kyle is just so awkward.
And
like,
I thought it was because Kyle really had the hots for Pilar, which might still be the case.
Yeah, but she's just actually really shy, isn't she? And awkward.
She's really shy. I don't know if she was just panicking about what Bridget was going to think and being careful, or if she was panicking about her own feelings of attraction or what was going on.
Yeah.
But we discovered, I think, that she said that this is her first relationship, her relationship with Bridget, which is really surprising.
It was surprising, but then
only
also,
because she looks so queer, not because of her personality. It was surprising,
yeah, until all of this has unfolded, and I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised at all. And like, no wonder you want to get married to Bridget, because it seems like it's quite a lot of social effort for her to. Yeah, it's quite a lot to throw. She threw herself into this situation for some reason, because she's the ultimatum giver. I guess she's just really wants to marry Bridget. But I'm like, it was so awkward. They were like doing stuff like, do you remember they said to each other like, I haven't even seen you with your hair up. I was like, whoa, sexy. And then they said like, and then Pilar said, we're going to have to address the elephant in the room. We're going to have to shit in the same room. I was like, girl, that
didn't have to say the word shit.
No wonder she didn't want to give you a kiss. Thinking about your pooey bum. And then like one of them said, do you have an electric? I think Kyle panicked, said, do you have an electric toothbrush? Which I'm just like, autism.
Yeah,
because she's
big tism
trying to think of what to say, and then Pilar was just like, oh, what kind of a question is that? Which I'm like, oh God, don't shut her down.
I know. So is Bridget...
Yes and, Pilar, yes and.
Oh God, the improv is the last thing that autistics want to think about in times of need. Yeah, so I'm thinking, is Bridget actually the love of her life, or is she her emotional support person who she's just like, I want to lock this down? That's
interesting, because that's exactly what I think of Pilar and Hayley. Because, I mean, Hayley and Megan have a very genuine
amazing
connection.
Chemistry.
That's like the most, I feel like they have more of a connection than any of the original couples.
They're the only ones that I'm rooting for. I really want them to be together.
Yeah, because I'm like, Daynar needs to get out of this situation, and Pilar was like totally like not up for being with Hayley. Pilar was well into being with and Kyle was ready, until she was rejected.
Ready to run, like didn't.
Yes.
And she said the whole thing about the cakes. Like, if you have a nice cake, but there's loads of other nice cakes out there you could eat. So don't you want to eat some of the other nice cakes? Like,
oh my God.
It was very obvious, and all of a sudden she's backtracking. Can we just talk about the like thing that happened with Kyle and Pilar?
Oh God, yes. Go on.
Terribly awkward. We see them coming back into the flat, upset and icy atmosphere, and we learn that Pilar... So, okay, wait, before this, there was a conversation that they had where Kyle was kind of like, I don't know what to do because, like, should we be flirting? Like, we are flirting, aren't we? And then Pilar was like, yeah, I think we're flirting. And so that was kind of setting the foundations of something romantic.
Yes.
Then Pilar tries to kiss Kyle. Kyle says no or doesn't return it.
Yeah.
And then she does it again. After. And then Kyle... kisses back a bit but doesn't want to, and yikes. So when I first heard that, I thought, oh God, that doesn't sound great from Pilar's end, like a bit dodgy pushy, especially if she said no the first time. But then I also saw Kyle then trying to cover her ass by saying like, well, you obviously see our relationship as something completely different to how I see it, when actually they'd just been having a conversation about it where I feel like they'd acknowledged that it was flirtatious, so it was quite gaslighty. Oh, well, I don't know if it's gaslighty, but like it was suddenly just like, oh, but we're completely friends, when they weren't being completely friends.
Yeah, and I like that Pilar was very like matter of fact about like what happened, and she was like, I think she really apologized, but she was also like, I need you to acknowledge that you had took part in this as well. And then Kyle said that's like helpful for her growth or something because she's bad at arguing or something. Do you remember she said she's got sisters?
It was like the next day they spoke about it again, and Kyle cried because she said that Pilar made her feel so safe to have an argument.
Yes, which was kind of cool.
It was quite amazing that they managed to get to that point.
One other thing as well that it made me really see was, I think that particular misunderstanding really triggered Pilar's internalized homophobia.
Yes.
Because she looked so ashamed and embarrassed, and obviously like being gay from an unaccepting family, and also having a secret relationship for I guess 8 years, like you would feel shameful about your desires, and then having an actual lesbian who you thought you had made an agreement with and you've kissed her and then she said no, you'd be like, what? And then you'd feel really like she's looked really hurt. And I don't think Pilar is completely like should like, you know, didn't do anything
in the
wrong
right,
or anything, but like she's not completely in the right, exactly. But at the same time, like, I think it was quite a triggering scenario for her.
No, I agree. I felt really bad for her, and like she'd been set back, and now she's just like, oh, whoops, I guess I should just pretend that I'm thinking about Hayley again, when actually I don't. I think luckily Hayley might end up releasing her from the situation.
Yeah, which I think they both need, because they've been trapped. Also, another part of that is that, do you remember how they were having the discussion that was like, do you think this is you're just fine with us having feelings for each other?
Yeah.
That was Kyle as well, being like, feeling conflicted and weird about having feelings.
Kyle was saying, yeah.
Is that what part of was that the conversation you were talking about, or was this a different one?
I can't remember if that was the same thing, but yes, I think it was, because she was saying, I don't understand why you're finding this so easy.
Yes, and
which again is quite shaming to Pilar, because it's like, oh God, I shouldn't have these feelings.
Also,
coming up,
another part of that as well is that Kyle is the one that gave the ultimatum to Bridget. Therefore, she's the one that like initiated the structure of this whole thing and said, we should do this. And you know that like Hayley was the ultimatum giver to Pilar, and Pilar was probably not up for doing it and was pushed into it. And I think the same thing has happened with Megan. Megan wanted to leave, but she's been forced by her partner. Sorry, it's a bit of a strong word. She's been kind of like pushed by her partner, guided into doing this. And
Megan actually asked to leave as well, didn't she?
Yes, and then has taken it on. Pilar and Megan have both done what their partners asked of them.
Yeah.
And they haven't got the outcome that they wanted them to have, but unfortunately it was a risk that came with it. And also, if you're having to give an ultimatum, the foundation of your relationship probably isn't strong.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be giving your partner an ultimatum. That's a weird thing to do. That's so pushy, like coercive. As is that bad to say?
No, but I think in a lesbian relationship, I feel like if there's an ultimatum happening, then it should it's not going to work. But
yeah.
But thinking about straight relationships and how shit some men are at committing, you do see. I still think like you don't want to have to beg your partner to propose.
No, because
but you do see that happening quite often. Yeah,
because I also think that's the thing that ends up being held against. That's probably. Oh God, this is maybe a controversial thing to say, but I just think I feel like men will use that then later. If we're talking about straight relationships, men will use that later on to justify their fucking midlife crisis, where they buy a car and go out with a younger woman because they've been like, I never wanted this in the first place.
Yeah.
I just also want to sorry, I've had a coffee.
It's good.
I just want to quickly touch as well on a conversation we had yesterday, Sunday. Touch. Can we do holding space? So, oh, that's it. I forgot what it was. So we were talking in the car about how we've all got this idea that by mid-30s you should be married with your partner and you have a baby and that's how it goes. You're going to find your perfect partner. But like so many of our straight friends are struggling to find a man, straight female friends, are struggling to find a man because, I don't know, Hinge and Tinder and all of that stuff just looks like an absolute, what do they say? What's that word? Dumpster fire. It just looks like hell.
Yeah.
And it's just such a... What?
For some reason when he said hell, the thing that came into my mind was Nami. Anyway,
such a specific. Daisy's got like 3 TikToks that are in your head.
I forget.
And you'll never go past that because you banned me.
Yeah.
I can't really.
So sorry.
When I said this in the car, it sounded really profound.
I remember.
But now that I'm trying to say it, it doesn't sound very profound. Go on then.
Everyone's like, this is what should be happening by this time.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've seen your family and people in your community do.
And forever.
Forever in history. But most of those people, like your random aunts and uncles and your teachers and everyone who's just a funny old married couple, probably don't like each other because women were taught to just marry the person that wanted to marry them.
Yes.
So, and if we were back in the day, our straight friends would have married four ex-boyfriends
their first
ago.
Or second boyfriend.
They would have put up with all of the shit that they now break up with them for.
Because they wouldn't, they'd think that that's all that they deserve.
Yeah. It's a bit of a grim outlook.
Yeah, sorry, it's a really grim outlook. But
maybe the point is that you're going to have lots of loves and you're not necessarily going to... if you're not fitting into that timeline, it's okay.
I do think that is... I find it frustrating sometimes when I see, like... This is silly. Maybe it's like a jealousy of mine that, like... Because I have close friends, obviously. But, like...
You? Close friends?
Maybe the thing about, like... that straight women have, where they have such, like, comfort and, like... they find their female friendships so precious. You know, yesterday I was banging on about girls saying like, me and my girlfriends do this, and I'm like, just fucking don't say that, because they're not, like, that undermines my relationship. But maybe it doesn't, and maybe it's just like, I can't have that because I don't have a shit boyfriend that then I need to find my girlfriends to like make my life a bit more bearable. But like, I think that makes those friendships so intense. Because I've just seen your notes and you've literally written Daynar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes those friendships more meaningful.
Because your boyfriend's so shit.
I
think that is true, but also the girls in those groups are all participating in a performance of gender that they are bonded by. Like, that's why those groups freak me out. Like, I'm not going to go and talk about my nails.
Yes.
That makes me feel like a weird owl sitting in a tree. But like, we have really close friends that we share everything with.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. But it's a ritualistic thing that has kind of, so it's rooted in when women didn't work and were like didn't participate in politics, and like Jane Austen times, all you could do is take a turn around the room and
or be a spinster
bitch about people,
where you're like literally, or just like have a knitting circle and a gossip, like
and some of that is kind of fun.
Well, it sounds divine,
but some of it is also
oppression,
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually really like talking about clothes and cooking and gardening together.
Yeah,
we're not like desperate to have that outlet.
No, and
friends.
I think I just find it so. It's amazing that women are seeing the value of their worth, but tragic that the society that we live in is making them think that they're failing by choosing themselves.
Yes, because the point is that you're avoiding getting into a miserable marriage.
Yeah,
by not settling down at this point in your life.
But then people are making themselves more miserable by thinking that they have failed by not achieving a pretend thing where they would be unhappy anyway or unfulfilled.
I also think it's hard. Depends if you have a community that you find really enriching, because it's very easy to get lonely in this time when everyone's looking at their phones and there isn't the same kind of community spirit.
And of course there's a comfort for us. We live in quite a small community and we have each other and we really like each other, so it's really easy for us to say all of these things. I think maybe it's just helpful to think of a different perspective sometimes, and it's just like you're all doing well, girls, and not everyone's perfect as well. Like that is a difficult thing. I just think if you are attracted to men, you're probably not going to find a perfect man, and I'm not going to find a perfect woman. I sort of have, but
going to.
I just was trying to be supportive, but I've already found the perfect woman. But I don't want to keep. I don't want to brag about it.
No, not perfect. It was the word "going to" that I didn't like.
Let's just let that go. Okay, I've literally proposed to you. We're getting married. Let it go. Yes, I want you to have. Not you. I want one. The straight woman to have straight line. A great relationship, a happy, fulfilled life, and not at the expense of like their happiness. But at the same time, no one's perfect. I don't really know why I'm talking about this.
And do you feel like a lot of these couples,
right, bring it back to the show, yes,
have given the ultimatum because they're comparing themselves to these arbitrary timelines?
Yes.
And
that, but also I guess it kind of highlights their difference in values and therefore the problem with the foundation of their relationships. Like, I'm not sure it's gonna work if one of you wants one thing and the other one doesn't, like, and they're quite fundamental things. Speaking of, should we talk about Mel and Dana because of the babies thing?
Yes.
So I mean, I've got loads of wild notes from
me too.
Them, but I guess should we work our way down the list from the first what you've got? So I mean,
I've just got a silly one that Mel and Marie both, I swear, made the same meal, obviously from their food truck, for their partners.
The Brussels sprouts.
The Brussels sprouts meal.
Like, also, fart alert.
So farty.
Papa Town.
What's Nino Papa Town?
Nino.
Pop Patrol.
Just like, no, Pop Town is something different to Nino. I'm just like, Nino, alert, Fart Town. Pop. They're all different thoughts.
Yeah.
They're going to be farting loads.
They are. And that was just such a sick, horrible moment, seeing them both doing that in their new couples. I mean, Marie has got a shitty end of the stick in this, but anyway, we'll go to them.
Yeah.
Mel and Dana. Daynar is bringing out some mad shit these episodes, saying, talking to Mel as if they've been married for 40 years. I know that what you want, and you're just scared of what you actually really want, which happens to be exactly what I want, which I've just made up because we've only known each other for 3 weeks. Yeah. Mel saying, like, I've got so much. The one thing I didn't think I'd have with you is trust, and I've just got so much trust with you. Like, and it's like, what does that even mean? Because that's a trap.
Yeah.
Because you've still got partners.
I think I'm basing...
Are you trusting them to never see their ex-partner again?
Yeah. What does that mean? I'm basing their whole relationship off of one thing, which is that they have printed pictures of themselves as a couple in the room, which is, if you have followed us on from Maths Australia, you'll know the famous couple that did that.
Red flag.
It was Jackie and Ryan.
Oh my God.
And if you don't know about Jackie and Ryan, they're now suing each other. So that says it all. But like, what? Why have they got printed pictures? Where are they printing them? I have like disposable cameras from like 4 years ago that I've never got on printed because it's too much faff. Where the fuck have they gone?
Start having an affair. The first thing that comes to mind is create some permanent evidence of this and put it up on my wall.
Oh, it's not an affair though, because it's they're broken up.
Yeah,
apparently. What the fuck? So I mean, we
oh my God.
had Mel say something like, "Where do you want me to put my dirty fingers?" Do you remember that?
That was with the Brussels sprouts as well. Your farty dirty fingers.
Delish.
Oh God,
that is wrong. And we heard too much.
Wrong.
That's wrong.
It's unnatural.
I disagree with gay sex. No. Gay sex. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's just so obvious that they've got, like, Mel has got the horn for Daynar, and she's thinking that she loves her, and I'm like, Wait, don't know.
Daynar thinks she loves her, or Mel thinks she loves Daynar?
Mel thinks.
Do you think?
She's just got a hard on, and she's like, I'm going to fuck up my life, lose my food truck, lose my wifey for this mad woman.
Who is very scary.
And all you know about her is that she likes to fuck. But now it's just so funny how you can tell yourself a story of like, we're soulmates and we're going to have babies together. I'm like, you don't know anything about each other.
Also, what is going on when they started ignoring everyone at the pool?
Okay, I have theories. These coffees really hit.
Yeah, they did. Whoa, what's going on? Don't they did really hit. I need to fart. Nino. It was silent.
The ignoring thing. Okay, so they all seem to go to the same swimming pool and see each other there.
Yeah, because it's in the same apartment block.
It must be the pool of the block.
It's the same apartment block. Nightmare. But also, do you remember how in the last episode Marie said she doesn't know where
she said I'll run down the halls
and I'll scream her name.
I can't believe Mel and Dana would go to the swimming pool of the blocks and canoodle. Go to a different hotel with a swimming pool. That's mad. So they were all like pretending each other doesn't exist, which would be awful. But then Mel, on the nights out, Mel said something like, so I was doing what we're supposed to do, what we've been told to do. Like, and it made me think the producers have said you need to act like you don't know each other. And not talk to each other and not have any contact.
Yeah, I mean, that is the point of the whole thing, which is what I'm finding annoying about how everyone's...
But this is the thing, Mel's taking it, obviously, Mel's fallen into the producer's trap.
Because Mel then told...
Because just look at your partner, like,
and
be
also,
a human.
Mel then said, if my partner really needed me, I'd be there, about Megan to Daynar. So, like, you're telling other people to do things, but doing it differently yourself. Which is basically, that's what, like, AJ's doing as well. Oh, my God.
Okay, so some other interesting things that arose. I forgot that we end up meeting Daynar's mum. But Daynar talks about her mum and says, there's like, she's my best friend, like we're like the same person, but then throws a lot of shade at her saying, I just wouldn't want to be single at her age and I wouldn't want to devalue relationships the way she does. I was like,
ding dong, what are you doing on the show? You're shagging Mel. And then as soon as her mum and her sister say Megan made you a better person, she was like, Mommy's Megan.
Oh,
I'm
my
like, love,
God.
you've fucked it up royally.
I think they handled that brilliantly because they were nice to Mel, but they stuck up for Megan.
Yeah.
And what a silly twit.
Yeah.
You were like, she's got a vape in her hand.
Yeah. So Dana's mum had a vape in her hand, like holding it clutched, and then it shot away from her, and then it suddenly wasn't in her hand anymore, and I was like, we have to go back, and it was a vape, which added up to the whole picture. I loved it. So I found this whole thing about Megan not showing up for Daynar to be, you could just see it was so transparent.
Yeah.
Because we heard all of Dana's reactions on the phone, on the Ring camera. And then when Mel and took Megan off to have a conversation, want to come outside? To have a conversation about it. And Mel was like, you weren't there for your partner. And then suddenly Megan came out with everything that Dana said. And I was like, of course she said all of these things. She said, I'm breaking up with you. I'm going home. I don't want to do this. Like, and Megan was like, why would I try and help this person?
Yeah.
Whereas before, and then Mel said something like, you know her. No, that isn't good enough. If you're saying, I don't want to be with you, I'm leaving this, even though she forced Megan to stay and do this.
Yeah.
That's
and
messed
then
up.
Shagged someone else the whole entire month.
Shagged someone else the whole time. And it's actually, she's lost Megan in the process, because Megan and Hayley are a really good couple.
I really want Megan and Hayley to get together.
Me too.
I think it's such a shit excuse to be like, I don't express my emotions, that I don't ask for help that often. So when I do, you have to do whatever I say. Like, oh, so you don't express yourself properly, and then you have a tantrum, and then the whole world is supposed to stop. It's like, no, how about you express your emotions consistently?
Yeah. And learn to like manage how you're feeling. And yeah, it's really,
I mean, I'm not trying to say that it wouldn't be hard for Dana to lose her partner of years.
Yeah.
But she was shagging someone else immediately,
and literally as soon as she had, eyes were not anywhere else, they were only on Mel.
Obsessed.
And as soon as her mum and her sister said, think about this person who you were with before, oh yeah, and then suddenly she was like crying to Megan. I'm just like, it's so transparent that like it's just what people seem to do when they have affairs, isn't it? Like, you fucked up your whole life by shagging someone else, and then you come back to them saying you have made a mistake, but that was so easy for you to make that mistake, and maybe you should reflect on that.
Yeah. And at the night out, she has the cheek to take Marita away for a little conversation.
Yeah.
And say, she's very intense when she's talking to people. She sort of like sticks her face out like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want you to give me and Mel a bit of trust in the process. Just like trust that we're doing.
She's licking a pussy.
Yeah. Or at least getting a licky post. That's an accident. Oh,
King Licky Post.
We only heard Licky getting pushed, didn't we? Sorry.
Yeah, we really did. Oh my god. I'm really obsessed with Megan and Hayley, which we've mentioned already, but like, I've just been obsessed with how they've been conducting themselves.
I love that they're both kind of similar. Well, they're similar levels of like soft butch, strong and calm, and they just both seem really like relaxed to have each other like a mirror of themselves, but in a really great way, like no game happening.
The nicest thing that Megan said was that she said she's felt pushed her whole life. She said by Dana, teachers, her parents, everyone, but she doesn't feel like that with Hayley. And I was like, that is so moving.
Yeah. I really hope they get together.
Me too.
Dana's going to do her very best to fuck it up though.
Yeah. And Megan said like, I chose myself by choosing Hayley. And which was such a nice thing to say. And I mean, obviously I'm still not sure about the whole, it goes across to both sides. Even though I like this couple, I still feel a bit uncomfortable about the sexual element of the whole thing. I don't really understand how everyone's meant to just move on from that. But that's just maybe my own personal stuff. But yeah, I also loved that Hayley stood up for Megan when they were at the drinks because Daynar was like, what kind of growth is she making? I'm not seeing any growth. I'm only seeing a regression.
Yeah.
And then Hayley said, well, she actually is making a ton of growth. It just might not be what you're expecting, which was such a burn.
And also like it.
So true. And it might not be what she wants because it acknowledges that Dayna maybe isn't good for her.
And they're like the couple that no one kind of was threatened by at the start. And they've ended up
the most potentially serious.
Having the most authentic connection.
And it's also that kind of, I think it highlights an imbalance in people's relationships, like maybe for Britney, for Hayley and Pilar, for Dayna and Megan, like the one person in and Marita as well, one person in the couple kind of thinks there's no way you're going to find better than me, and therefore they become complacent. They stop working on their relationship, and then this kind of stuff happens. And in particular with Dayna, because she just wants Megan, who has probably previously done this, to just drop everything for her, take all the shit, and just expect their person to be there without putting in much effort for them. Yeah,
totally.
So,
but the person that's going to get fucked in this is Marie. Because she's just
she's
just a casualty of this, and she doesn't really. And she talked about how her mum committed suicide.
Oh gosh, I don't remember that part.
I'm pretty sure she said she stopped talking to her mum years ago.
Shit.
Then her mum died, and she said she's a victim of suicide.
Yes.
So that is really. You can see that in how guarded she is.
Was that Mel or Marie?
Marie.
And then she's
finding it very hard to open up to people. Like
in the sense of like you wouldn't want to get close because you might lose it, sort of thing.
Maybe, yeah. Like I admired the way she processed things at the night out, but I also thought like she obviously can't process things immediately and vulnerably. Like when people were telling her about the evidence that Mel had been fucking around, and she was kind of like couldn't react in the moment, and then kind of reacted in that weird, slightly scary, angry way with AJ. I just feel really bad for her. It's not good. She's obviously going to have trust issues from that happening with her mum, and now Mel is just gone,
totally gone.
We didn't properly talk about Mel telling Daynar about her not being able to carry children.
Yeah, and then saying that she'd never told
Marie. That was mad. I couldn't believe that.
And also that's just like such a massive like blow to their trust, Marie and Mel's.
But also interesting because she was saying, well, Marie never pushed me.
Well, that's what, yeah.
And Megan said she feels pushed by Daynar, and Mel is now, electing herself to fulfill that role, but Daynar was being so annoying in that situation, telling her, oh no, you just don't know what you want, you do want kids, really.
And also, you're really lucky because there's two of us, so the other one can have the baby. That's not the point. She said she didn't want them anyway. And also just like, it's so invalidating. What is also really unfair is that Marie was being respectful of Mel by not pushing her on the subject. Mel obviously said, I don't want to have kids. And the fact that Mel didn't freely give up a bit of a deeper reason, like, isn't Marie's fault. But Dayna will see it as like, well, I did a good job in this relationship because I got that information out. And I don't think that's fair. I think Marie was respectful.
It will be interesting to see what happens, because I feel like Mel was kind of saying that that's one of the like secret reasons why she didn't want to marry Marie, because she decided in her head, oh, Marie deserves to have kids and I don't want to have them, but they hadn't had the conversation. And now is she going to just kind of like say yes to Daynar, even though Daynar wants kids, and it's exactly the same situation?
But because she's actually said it and got it off her chest, it makes it okay. I don't know. What a mess.
Such a mess. Do you actually want any of the original couples to stay together?
Well, I like Marita a bit more now, but I don't think they're suited.
They're
Ashley
not
and
suited.
Marita. I kind of want Britney and AJ to be together.
They're the only ones that I think will maybe survive, because I think maybe AJ just wanted to like
do a bit of flirting,
flirt,
have a bit of
and then
power.
be like, oh, well, actually, I should probably just marry Britney.
And she didn't. I mean, I would be pretty upset if that happened.
What happened
to us? Like if you, but then at the same time, if you never followed through with anything and you were just really flirting with people and then that was it, like, and you just needed to get that out of your system,
they can
maybe
survive.
that's okay.
They can survive that
situation. There?
No, sorry, there was just a little spider.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I think they can, and Britney's obviously quite good at being like, well, yeah, everyone is impressed by AJ.
Yeah, because I'm impressed by AJ.
Yeah.
As in me being Britney in
Yes.
that moment, not me personally impressed by AJ.
But I don't think anyone should stay together. I think Kyle and Bridget will, but I don't think they should.
Agree.
And I want Megan and Hayley to get together.
Agree.
I think Mel and Dana is a disaster, but they'll probably get together.
Yikes. What the fuck? Now...
Oh, and there's proposals. It's not just get together and stay together. So basically everyone...
So now, is everyone basically... Now everyone's going to get back with their original partner. Oh, God, I can't wait.
And there'll be like a group party or something. Oh my God.
And they've all been licking each other's pusts. What was it?
Get your licky pust. They've all been getting their lickies pust
by each other. Oh my God, it's a mess.
Well, where we've left off is Marie saying, I'm not going to go to sleep until I've heard the truth.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. Is Mel going to show any remorse? Maybe when Daynar's trying to get Megan back.
I want you to ask another question so I can make a trailer. Will Dayna, was it Mel or Dayna? Mel. Will Mel show any remorse? Will Dayna let Marie in? Is AJ going to get involved? Find out when you watch the next episode.
So there's 2 more episodes left of this chunk.
I mean, they're all out tomorrow, babe.
Oh my God. Okay, well, who knows? We'll watch a few and then we'll be back.
God. We'll be back.
That's great. And if you want any more content from us, sign up to our Patreon where we're talking about all the other shows we're watching, like What It Feels Like for a Girl.
We've watched loads of Glasto. I think we might want to talk a bit about Glastonbury.
We're probably going to talk about Glastonbury
and
the Titan submersible documentary.
You haven't listened to that one. That's really good. We might be doing some more Lucy Letby discussions because
oh my God,
some people have just gotten arrested in that situation. We were talking about that previously. There's other things that we need to watch. We'll be back, but for now, I think we need to just go and carry on watching the Ultimatum because I need to fucking know what's going to happen.
Me too.
Oh my God. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Bye.